the minimalist Light Phone 3 is officially available for purchase. Ubisoft spun out a subsidiary with a billion-dollar investment from Tencent. And Mark Zuckerberg decided that content from your actual friends is an OG Facebook feature. It's Friday, March 28th, and this is Engadget News. Light, the company behind a pair of minimalist handsets, just released the Light Phone 3. This is the perfect device for those who are tired of modern smartphones with their easy access to doom scrolling and their abundance of wonky AI tools. The Light Phone 3 features a sleek black and white OLED display, which is a new design element. The previous models included e-paper screens. The big draw, however, is not what this phone has, but what it doesn't have. There are no third-party apps. There's no access to social media, the internet, or even email. It's intended to be, first and foremost, a phone. It's not completely bare. This model includes an embedded NFC chip for making payments, a bare-bones music player, a podcast player, a messaging app, a flashlight, voice notes, a calendar, a timer, and an alarm. It also includes a simple camera system that was inspired by point-and-shoot models. There's a two-step shutter button with center focus and a fixed focal length. The company calls it genuinely fun. The Light Phone 3 has a navigation app, which is likely the most useful part of modern smartphones, but with a twist. The company paid for private access to navigational information, so here, the mapping platform powering the app has no visibility into where you go or what you search for. Other specs include 6 gigabytes of RAM, up from 1 gigabyte in the Light Phone 2, 128 gigabytes of memory, and a newer Qualcomm chip. It includes a fingerprint ID on the power button, a USB-C port, and some loudspeakers at the bottom. The battery is also user-replaceable, which is a huge bonus. It's larger than previous generations, and it's pretty cute. It's around the width of a modern iPhone, but much shorter. And this was on purpose, the company said, to make it easier to text while holding it vertically. There is a spot of bad news here, though. The Light Phone 3 costs $799, which dwarfs the price of the second-gen model, though it is far more capable of a device. That said, you can still put in an order at the pre-order price of $599 for now. We'll see how long that sticks around for. Ubisoft is continuing its efforts to course-correct after several challenging years. The video game company announced this week that it will launch a subsidiary centered around 3 of its most familiar franchises: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. The as-yet unnamed subsidiary will fold in the teams working on those 3 series. This new business will receive an investment of roughly $1.25 billion from its long-standing partner, Tencent, granting the conglomerate a minority ownership stake. Following the transaction, Ubisoft will narrow focus to its other franchises, such as The Division and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Ubisoft has been cutting costs and jobs over the past several months after several of its new projects flopped. There have been hints for a while that the company's leaders were interested in either finding a buyer or exploring a joint venture with Tencent to help reverse its fortunes. It's encouraging that the recent Assassin's Creed Shadows has already reached 3 million players, but Ubisoft will probably need a few more wins to fully stabilize. There is some extra good news in the announcement. The description of the new subsidiary does specify that it will drive further increases in the quality of narrative solo experiences. So while we can expect to also see multiplayer and free-to-play offerings from the Ubisoft umbrella, they aren't giving up on single-player games. Meta has spent the last few years remaking Facebook's main feed into a discovery engine that primarily serves up recommended content from pages, groups, and accounts users don't already follow. But while the company has said the change is necessary to compete with TikTok, it's also frustrated Facebook users who miss seeing posts from people they actually know. Now, Meta is trying to remedy this with a revamped Friends section of the app that will only show posts and content related to your Facebook friends. The company says the update is the first of many meant to bring OG features back into the 21-year-old social network. With the update, the Friends tab of the Facebook app that used to only be for friend requests will now be home to a feed exclusively made up of content related to your friends. This includes feed and story posts, as well as reels, birthdays, friend requests, and people you may know suggestions. While Meta is spinning the change as a part of a larger push to make Facebook feel more social, it's not the first time the company has offered dedicated feeds for friend-only content. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg showed off dedicated Friends feed in 2022 amid the company's push to bring more recommendations to users' home feeds. That feed, which surfaces posts from friends in reverse chronological order, is still available, though it's somewhat buried in the app. It's not clear what else Meta has in store for other OG Facebook features that could play on nostalgia for the social network. Facebook's once infamous poke feature already had a brief resurgence last year. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Lawrence Bonk, Anna Washenko, and Carissa Bell, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer by me, Steve White. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with more tech news from Engadget.